That's all going perfect. Check the settings really fast. Perfect. Apply. Okay. Alright. Music. Ambiance. I think it's this. There we go. Okay. Well then. If I can find which episode this is, where is it in my notes? It has to be, here it is. Alright. Part 3. We're finally at the conclusion here, hopefully. Unless you guys do something to mess with it. I don't know. The last...
I guarantee nothing.
That is entirely fair, and every session that I've run, I have learned this the hard way. Every time. I always think I'm prepared, but I'm not. Anyways, the last session, all of you continued your, honestly, crisis mode. With being cadets, being, attacked, biochemically and such, which, there's a few Federation and even real life laws as why that's a bad thing, but, in doing so, the ops team, more specifically Captain Phillips and Lieutenant Commander Aleska, dealing with Gamma Ops and the issues that they had presented. Kind of a pissing contest of authority, and a quick arrest that was made shortly after, only to learn that they were just as confused. Doing a little bit of digging and understanding, the team was able to determine that the major that had accompanied Gamma Ops was indeed working with a separate unit. Most notably, and probably the worst off for Dr. Apricity, was the fact that their second in command, as it were, at the Horizon Medical Facility was, in fact, even though being accused of espionage, treason, and all that, and at first officially denied it, but was able to come clean to that being at least partially true. At the end of that, all of you are dealing with the ongoing rampant phage that is still within the locked and quarantined off area of Horizon Medical. The command ops team is working round the clock alongside crew members and other various ships to determine where the USS Ares went. You were able to disable it through a little bit of clever ingenuity. However, it will take time to locate. In addition to that, there was hints that they were not operating as a singular entity, but rather part of a much larger entity.
Section 31.
We're actually gonna jump ahead about 7-8 hours. Dr. Apricity is going around the clock to deal with trying to stave it off from various forms of tested out vaccines and stuff. Seem to kinda help various forms of medicine seem to slow it down a little bit. Progress is slow, but it's manageable. Meanwhile, the more command and communique and science team is a little bit more geared towards figuring just how in the hell something like this could happen way out here, and why didn't anyone catch it? That being the case, Herman Katz of Gamma Ops and Captain Phillips, you are standing outside the door to the Vice President's office, as well as Admiral Dax is inside with the Vice President, as well as Herman Katz. You can't... The privacy filters do a pretty good job of making sure you can't hear, but you can definitely hear muffled shouts, and from whom you can't really tell. But that is impressive, considering these privacy filters should do a very, very good job of muffling any noise. Before Herman exits, looking extremely shaken. Captain Dax exits, gives you a look up and down, and best of luck, Captain. She's waiting for you in the office.
Captain. Was you talking to me? You said there was somebody waiting for me?
Yeah.
So who's waiting for me?
Your mic is either really far or it's catching something else.
Let's try this. So, who was waiting for me? Exactly?
I can't... What is going on with your mic? Do you have one that...
You're fading in and out, and it's also kind of scratchy too.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I had to unplug my mic and plug it back in again. But
had to do that before.
Yeah, so who's waiting for me in my office?
No one's waiting for you in your office. The Vice President is waiting for you outside hers.
Okay. So I make my way to the Vice President's office. She's gonna bitch me about now.
Alright. The President's office, you were here for... No, you were not. That was Aleska who was here.
Yeah, I was never there.
Yeah.
This office is fairly spacious, large. However, it isn't hyper extravagant. It's actually rather Spartan and simplistic. The Bajoran woman looks like she's doing a couple of breathing exercises. Whatever happened has clearly put her in some kind of a mood before she hears the doors swing open, or slide open as they were. Captain Phillips.
Madam Vice President, I heard you wanted to speak with me.
I did. If you're comfortable standing, you can do that. Otherwise, there are seats placed here for a reason.
I walk in and I have a seat. So what can I help you with?
Hopefully a great deal of many things. For instance, news travels quickly, and it is in my purview to know about said news. I was unaware up until a most recent point that we had a Talshiar agent amongst our ranks, as well as suspected members of Section 31?
Well, Section 31, we uncovered that through the course of our investigation. And once the investigation concluded, that's when a person of interest confessed to being an ex-Talshar agent. And so we had her help out with fixing the incident, and then we placed her under arrest. She's sitting in the brig right now, separated from the rest of the Section 31 moles that were detained in the course of our investigation.
Captain, what are your opinions of Section 31, the little that you do know?
Well, my opinion, to be frank and off the record, Section 31 is a bad stain in the name of Starfleet. What they're doing is doing more harm than good.
Are you referring to the most recent incident, or are you referring to as a whole?
Both, to be honest.
Okay. She's thinking right now. Like, she's picking and choosing words very carefully in her brain before she says anything. Your insights into Section 31 are appreciated, and perhaps Section 31 has gone a bit too far in previous operations. However, one thing I do know about Section 31 is Section 31, no matter how they go about their operations as a smaller piece, their interest still remains quite largely the security of Starfleet and the United Federation of Planets. For example, during the Dominion War, they were a invaluable asset, feeding intel and creating distrust among the Dominion ranks.
You say that Section 31 is an asset to Starfleet.
It could be.
Then why murder all those cadets? We have dead cadets on so many of our ships right now.
And I have the painful duty of writing letters to their families and next of kin.
So why say Section 31 is an asset if they just killed a whole bunch of our cadets? The future of Starfleet, mind you. Their brilliant lives snuffed out.
You're presuming that Section 31 is responsible at all. It could be very much equally likely. Could be a splinter or offshoot group of Section 31, one that is a form of extremist. For example, Vulcans are prone to terrorism just as any human.
So what you're trying to say is that Section 31 is a good idea when it works right.
I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's a necessary one.
At whose expense, Madam Vice President? At whose expense?
Do you know why I called you down here, Captain?
No, I don't.
Because you are the official and technical director of Alpha Ops. In addition to Gamma Ops' recent slip-up, I do believe it is necessary for a more open command rather than a under the table and duplicitous motives.
So basically, I'm running both Gamma and Alpha.
No, you
Am I hearing that?
misunderstand, Captain. Your responsibilities will increase probably 20-fold with what I'm about to tell you, and you will have my full support and the operative authority once this is made official. But until we can resolve this, and I very much doubt, as far as reports go from various sources and crew members that were there, that the USS Ares mentioned the term I believe many intelligence communities use called compartmentalization.
Yep. The
So it
person
stands
that
to reason that they did not
Uh-huh.
operate alone.
So you're thinking there's more out there?
I would almost bet my life on it.
Well, that's just great.
I'm not gonna make any illusions about this, Captain. You're not going to like me, and I'm sure I won't like you quite frequently. However, the civilian government, as well as the Starfleet, which by all intents and purposes, despite being an exploratory force, is also a military, we do need each other, and we need to work together despite our differences.
And that's fine. We both have a job to do, which is to protect our allies, to see what's out there, and of course, comes down to it, which I hope it doesn't happen. Be ready for war. And I'm hoping we don't have to go to war, because if we go to war, I don't know if we're going to be ready.
I don't know either, Captain, and that's why I'm bringing you into the fold here, as well as anyone who you believe are trustworthy to be brought into your inner circle as this operation continues. I, for one, am confident that Section 31 as a whole is not responsible. However, there is information that a splinter and reject group of Section 31 that call themselves the Inheritors could possibly be responsible.
Well, that name's not ominous enough. But talking about the fold who I can trust everybody in Alpha Ops. Mission includes my chief medical officer. I can trust all of them with my life if I had to. If worst comes to worst, I can trust them to run things if I'm either down or incapacitated. I can trust them to run things and handle things.
Well then, Captain, as far as trust goes, would you be able to trust me if I were to give a mission and not the full details for perhaps your own safety or your crew's?
Oh, the full details will keep me and my crew alive.
Not necessarily, not all the time.
Well, it depends on the mission.
Yes, it does. Which brings us back to the circular theme of this conversation, which is trust. He reaches under and presses the windows and everything goes opaque, and even your own ears can hear the sound almost be slightly muted and dulled. I will tell you again, Captain, Section 31 is not responsible. Not as a whole. The inheritors are a thorn in Section 31's side. And you have my assurances that if a Section 31 operative of legal sanction were to be put on the station, you will know about it. I will assure it.
Well, I'll believe it when it happens, but I'm pretty sure that you activated the privacy setting for a mission. So, exactly is the mission for me and my crew of Alpha Ops?
It's not a mission. It's an exercise in trust. She reaches into a pocket and pulls out a communicator badge, similar to yours, but rather than the silver and gold, it is a dark slate, gray and black.
I know I'm not due for promotion anytime soon.
No, this right here is a comm badge for Section 31. I know that Section 31 is not responsible because I am its director.
I can't to give me a moment because I'm internally screaming. I'm internally screaming right now. Like, part of me knew that she had something to do with this, but to this extent. Okay. And so, you're director of Section 31?
I am.
So, what does this have to do with me and my crew? Mostly me, since you have me down here and not my crew as well.
I didn't want everyone in my civilian office to know the greater lengths of my reach as vice president and how I'm able to grab information when I need it. However, more importantly, what this symbolized in this conversation that you and I had, she takes out the fiddles with the back of the comm badge and pulls something out and clicks it back shut before sliding it over to you. That's my comm badge, or one of them. I touched it. I have fingerprints, everything like that. Exercise of trust, Captain. You holding that badge lets you know that I can trust you, as well as you can trust that you have something should you fear that I am stepping over the line.
So I would take the comm badge, I will look at it, and then I will put it in my pocket. And I say, I appreciate and understand that you just put a huge trust in my hands.
Yes, I did. Now, I will be reaching out to my network to deal and find out anything more about the inheritors if I can. Right now, you have a phage to deal with.
We have a face to deal with, and we get one of the perpetrators. He's just drifting about. We cut off his engines. The Ares is just sitting there waiting to pick up. So whoever decides to pick him up, he's right there.
Well, like I said, you have other things to attend to. I've wasted enough of your time, Captain. And in addition to that, another form of intel you might find useless. Not useless, but perhaps useless to some and useful to others. There's a moon about 2 light years away with a damaged and crashed Borg probe.
That's.
The Medea dealt with it a few weeks back.
They need to just leave stuff like that alone.
Don't worry, Captain. We have dealt with any possible backlash from something like that. However, one thing that could be useful is it is a information hub. The Borg Collective is like an archive. If you can access its databanks, you might find something to your current problem.
Yeah, but how can we access that kind of information, to be honest? I mean, now we have a probe on the ship. We're nowhere near a damaged Borg probe that we can get the information off. Unless you know something that I don't.
Well, I do, in fact. Docked on a port next to Delta Ops, there is a Kestrel-class Romulan warp shuttle. Could make the trip in 15 hours.
I'm putting a lot of trust in you, Madam Vice President. Or should I say Director? Yeah, that sounds kind of weird. But anyway, he says next to
Director
that.
doesn't really roll off the tongue as much, does it, Captain? And she presses the button and the privacy filter, gone.
Nope. Nope. But I appreciate the info. And I believe after this is over, I think we can start moving towards working together.
Oh, don't move that fast, Captain. You have no reason to trust
Slowly,
me
I
that well
said
yet.
slowly. I said moving towards. I never said how fast.
Why don't we move at the speed of atmospheric thrusters right now?
Fair. Madam Vice President, it was nice speaking with you.
Go confer with
But-
your doctor. See what they think.
But I have a lot of work to do. So, and I say, by your leave.
I'm not keeping you here.
I would get it out of the chair, and I would turn to walk out the door, and I would head to go to Apricity and get their input on this.
Okay. Before that happens, is there any other scenes that people want to do?
Nothing comes to mind. The only things that Neshek would be doing would be, again, monitoring the contact tracing, and then, because Apricity mentioned it before the incident, just in the background sweeping for the major ship, but that's like throwing out signals into deep space and seeing if something bounces back. So that's unlikely to yield results.
Alright.
I believe Joe did say at the end of the last session that the ship was recovered.
It was in the process of being recovered. It's still a little bit of a problem just because of how wide and expansive space is. Even the Aventine, which has like extensive like sensor suites and everything that it has, it's still gonna take a while. But yeah, you are right, it will eventually be recovered. Which actually I think would be an ops. Captain Phillips got called down. It'd probably be Neshek or Aleska at this time, or both, depending on where you are.
Probably Aleska would maintain watch on ops while the captain went to go talk to the vice president.
Alright, the new XO of the Aventine, looks like maybe Betazoid heritage and another species you can't quite make out, but does give in a hollow communique. Lieutenant Commander Aleska, we retrieved the Ares just now. It's in our upper shuttle bay. Your science officer did a number on the ship, actually. The force field is what kept decompression, but it looks like a good quarter of it is lost to the stars.
Well, better lost to the stars than in the hands of the Major.
Yeah.
But we will be ready for their arrival here on the station when you arrive, and I'll make sure that we have plenty of security officers to help you.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Commander, I was present during the very end of the Dominion War, but I did see enough, and with your permission, because I know this is something kind of in your purview, I'd like to see if I could get any information out of them on our way back here.
I'm sure that won't be a problem.
I'll keep you apprised if any information comes up then.
Although, to be fair, I would say that they are probably trained to resist interrogation.
True.
But they also murdered a lot of cadets, so they don't have our good side to rely on.
Well, I'm also not going to be interrogating them. I have the idea of using a EMH and a telepath. I'm not really in the mood for asking for permission mind probing at this stage.
With these people, most certainly not.
Like I said, I'll keep you appraised. The feed cuts.
And how?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I was just wondering how long they would be until they got to the station.
It'll take them probably an hour. Their slipstream hub doesn't work indefinitely, so they have to recharge it, and since they used it to come here, they're relying on warp. So it's gonna take a tiny bit.
But even still, the Aventine is a pretty fast ship.
Yeah, the Aventine can go warp 9.998, I think. And in special cases, transwarp, which does not make the ship happy, but it can do it. However, for you, Neshek, you're kind of going over the data of like everything that's happened leading up until this point, and the whole station, like around where you are in ops, darkens, goes dim, and comes back up in probably less than a second.
In the sense that, like, we lost power, or there's just no data there?
Like, you just lost power. Like, your console goes dead, the lights, the hollow screens, everything before it just flickers back
okay,
on.
literally, sorry, I was confused. I thought you meant in the data I was reviewing, I saw this in the data, not literally as I'm looking at the data, we lose power.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
In addition to that, this happens station-wide. It's only for maybe a quarter second to half a second, but station-wide is pretty alarming.
Station-wide is incredibly alarming.
Especially after this whole incident, which started with sabotaging a reactor. Is engineering telling me anything?
Engineering is honestly immediately on it, and you're getting like diagnostic feeds that are coming back. And most notably, the warp ring that is within Horizon Station is powering up.
What?
Are they gonna stop that, or?
They're trying. You're actually in communication with one of the engineers down in, like, probably... where would it be? Deck 300 something. Probably 308. Ops, I don't know what's happening. None of the engineering teams down here do. The ring cores just started up. We're trying manual overrides and shutdown protocols, but with as quickly as this happened, this is not something that we just... A manual shutdown isn't something that just happens immediately. In addition to that, that's something you have to almost prep for. I don't know if we can get all manual shutoffs down in time.
Understood, engineering. Stand by. I'll page the captain. I was about to say I'll peg the captain, then I realized that is not what I wanted to say.
Is it just a single core, or is it multiple cores?
I'd assume it's the whole ring.
Yeah, it's the whole ring.
Can we eject the ring?
That's very expensive. And also what they were saying, it's not something you can just do. Ejecting all the warp cores would have negative effects on the station itself.
In addition to that, the ring core is, like, ejection is a little different. The station can, in fact, horizontally split in half to make that a possibility. However, that requires that station to split in half.
Well, I'll page the captain, and I imagine the captains of all the other Alpha Ops, even though they're probably aware of this, basically letting them know that the warp ring is powering up and asking, has anybody plugged in coordinates? Like, did somebody just fuck up and not tell anyone? I know the answer is no, but that's the protocol here.
Every single op station between Alpha, Delta, Gamma, and a couple of the other op stations are all equally confused before you get a readout from the Delta ops. This is Delta ops. This is Lieutenant Vanessa Langer. We've allocated where coordinates are in fact being made, and they're nowhere specific, Commander. They're just... It looks like it's just telling us to go.
Can we bring those coordinates up on the
Well, I think it's just basically engines on and shoot in a line. I don't think there's like an end but destination is what I got from Delta.
Yeah, it's just go somewhere. There's nowhere definitive.
The infinite improbability drive. Well, okay. They still have no, like, they didn't enter those, they just found them.
Yeah.
Engineers acting manually. I guess,
Could we do a computer trace to see if perhaps we can find out who entered those coordinates?
We can. I was gonna suggest either try and figure out who did them. There are two things. We can either try to find out who did this, or we can try to basically shut it down while engineers trying to shut it out manually. We can try to basically shut it off software-wise, basically by replacing it with a different set of coordinates, or negating the command altogether. I just think we're only going to have time for one.
Safety of the station is priority, so try and shut it down is what I would think.
Okay. Then let's try to... While engineering is doing manual override, let's try for a software override.
Okay.
Of navigation, basically.
That's probably going to be a reason engineering check. This is going to be a difficulty of 3.
Reason engineering, difficulty 3.
3 points of threat taken.
Points of threat. Where on earth is a reason on this sheet?
It's always fun when threat is spent and we have no momentum.
2. Engineering is 14. Does this count as programming such studying a computer system for computer expertise?
Computer system, yeah.
Right, so I get an extra d20. Am I using the ship? Well, I guess I'm not using the ship's computer. I'm trying to override the ship's computer.
Yeah, we're trying to override the ship's computer in this case, or the station's computer.
Yeah. Bless you, Nina. You just sneezed. Alright. Oh, whoops. That's not the right command.
What the hell is this?
I just rolled a 320 side. I just rolled one 320 sided die.
Well, that's a massive, extreme,
fail.
infinite complication. The station blows up. You all die.
My bad, everybody.
I'm fine.
Let me put that 3 somewhere else. There we go. That's not better.
At least you got a 1.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you have anything to re-roll?
No, not in this case.
Rip.
I only get the bony because computer.
All right. You were able to. You're not able to stop the station from doing such, plotting a course and just going. However, what you are able to stop is its initial programming, like its endgame programming, which is to have the station jump to its maximum possible warp, which is not good for the station.
Okay.
The station can move at a maximum of warp 1.7 for about an hour before it has to stop, or it'll just fly apart. You were able to, like, as you're going through, like, code and trying to beat this to the punch or whatever happened, you, like, see the very end bar of code, like, no, that has to stop, and renege on that, so it won't go to max warp at all, but the station is still jumping to warp. In addition to that, immediately after that happens, you're locked out of your own control panel.
Oh. Well, I guess I can't really tell anybody about it.
Before your control panel lights with a singular image, a black badge similar to yours. However, the symbol is a little bit different. It seems to have kind of slid in at a diagonal from lower left to upper right is kind of a curled up, you think maybe flag, and beneath that is a long sword, and in the center of the badge there is a very nice, intricate, like, calligraphy eye before it blinks out again, and you can feel the station almost lurch a little bit as you look on your the window areas of the operation station and just watch the star field just begin to pull and become a warp tunnel.
Neshek, how long will we be at warp?
Did I see anything in there that suggested how long? Or else is it presumably until we run out of fuel?
Yeah, except the station is very self-sufficient. So really, obviously the initial plan was max warp, make the station fly apart. However, if that could not happen, you were just locked in warp speed until you can override a command to get it to stop.
We shall remain at warp 0.5 indefinitely until we presumably run out of food or fuel or something breaks. The station won't be any immediate structural danger, but we still won't be slowing down anytime soon.
Can we do a shutdown of the computer?
Unfortunately, I believe I at least am locked out. Is anybody else around here in Ops also locked out of their stations, or is it just me?
It's everyone in Ops seems to be locked out.
Am I locked out?
So yeah, how's Apricity?
You actually are pretty alarmed when you're pulling up different cadets' medical files and they just disappear in, like, your overlay in your vision. They're just gone, and it's just regular vision for you again.
I will call the captain, and seeing that the player is getting dinner right now, I guess I will call Aleska if the captain is busy.
Do we even still have communications?
That's what I'm
We're locked out.
checking.
You have internal station communications, yes.
Okay.
Notasky here. Go ahead, Doctor.
Commander, right? Lieutenant Commander?
Yeah, Lieutenant
Yes.
Commander.
Yeah.
So you can use the term Commander as well. That's pretty common.
Yeah, I knew she wasn't a captain, but... Commander Aleska, have we... I'm trying to find a fancy way of saying the Wi-Fi is broke, and I'm failing to come up with it, so the Wi-Fi is broke.
It's not just you, Doctor. We've been locked out of most functions of the station. A parting gift from, I believe, the Major.
Unfortunate. Is this something continuous? Or was it a one-time deal?
Well, we are currently at 0.5 warp speed, and we will apparently keep doing that until we can find a way to shut down the computer, to shut down the core.
Okay.
And to that end, Aleska will Notasky to all security teams. Report to computer core for a manual shutdown of computer.
Would I be more useful out of the hospital? I can decontaminate and leave the quarantine zone if that would be more helpful.
You would be able to interface with computer core directly, wouldn't you, Doctor?
I would assume so.
In theory, yes.
Hey?
We've never done it with this particular computer core, but in theory, yes.
Theoretically.
Then meet me at the main computer core, please, Doctor.
Alright.
Alright. Deck 400. I imagine internal use is still available, so rather than trying to use a turbo lift, I'm sure a transporter makes more sense. Deck 400 is impressive to some and wholly boring to others, because it is a few like wall LCARS panels, but other than that, it is little bits of like small like crewman bunks here and there, but it's primarily a large ring like server room.
And I assume that the technicians are running around.
Very concerned right now.
Oh yeah, they are not vibing. They do not like this. One of them kind of runs by. What the hell's going on? Does no one let anyone know anything?
Apparently we have a virus in the system.
I'm gonna stop you right there. A virus?
And I briefly tell the technician, without going into detail about the Section 31 part, about what happened on the bridge. And so we are going, since we can't do a software shutdown of the system, we are doing a manual shutdown, physically removing chips. And that is why I have brought extra security teams to help your crew do this as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but efficiently is going to be a necessity. Quickly I don't know how quickly this is going to happen. This is a large deck and a lot of different areas we have to cover.
Well, Dr. Apricity is here to help us as well. To figure out which ones we need at the bare minimum to do the shutdown with.
Apricity just waves.
You know, a lot of us were gonna do a little bit of afternoon of chess and whatnot, and suddenly chaos happens, we're running around, and you tell us there's a virus in our computer core.
Unfortunately, yes.
I will let you know this person who is honestly not having a time and is clearly, like, super irritated with everything happening is not that high a rank. They're like a specialist second class.
Well, Aleska has been dealt with enough tech issues to know to trust the experts rather than her own.
Okay, so if we take out every chip that is necessary to get rid of this virus, then the biggest thing that I could think of is at the bare minimum the required amount of isolinear chips that we have to remove are upwards of 600.
And that is why I have brought a large number of security off. So you just point them to which chips you want removed.
Alright, fine. 222 of these are going to need to be removed simultaneously.
Which is why we have comm badges, so that we can count down.
You sure some of your security officers can count?
I heard that.
Yeah, I heard that you heard that. Okay, so I can read the computer layouts. We're at warp, which means at some point we're gonna run into something, whether that be a floating comet or a starship or a planet.
Honestly, statistically speaking, the fact that we're at warp in one straight direction and haven't hit anything yet is fucking mind-boggling. Apricity's not saying that out loud, but but they're thinking it.
Statistically improbable.
Statistically improbable? Running in... Oh, okay, how fast is warp?
It's barely above impulse.
Oh. I was thinking we were moving a lot faster than we were, I guess.
Of light. Warp 1.5.
I was also thinking we're moving a lot faster.
Yeah. Warp 1 is the speed of light. Warp 1.5 is, if we're going off of the new TNG scale, I believe it's 13 times the speed of light. So it's fast, but it's not like starship fast. It's enough to where it's concerning and it has to stop, but not enough to where it's like this has to be solved like yesterday.
Alright.
We're at warp. We need to eject. We need to pull out 222 isolinear chips at the same time. Doing so should cancel out the warp field. We should drop to, at worst, maybe a quarter impulse before thrusters compensate and put us into a still stance.
I have a question. My apologies. These, the removal, can it be done within a human margin of error, or not human, but whatever the species is for general people.
It can be done. The biggest pressing issue is once we remove these isolinear chips, and it will work, we will stop. These particular versions of isolinear chips are meant to be taken out for manual repairs and such. This concept for an emergency shutdown like this, it's there for a reason, but we will have to replicate new ones, and even that will take time. So wherever we stop is where we stop.
Better that we stop than stay at warp and fly the station apart.
Yeah.
Hopefully once we've stopped, we'll be able to actually communicate outside the station.
Yeah.
I did hear that, right?
Hear what?
Like, we're completely incapable of communicating off the station?
Yeah, I think at this point,
Okay.
you probably would have even tested it. Alright. No time like the present. And just make sure when I say go, everyone that's supposed to pull those chips does that.
And Aleska will coordinate with all the security groups to go where the technician says to, and to have people standing at the spots where the ships are.
Alright. Well, this'll do one of two things. It'll either stop, or it'll make it 100 times worse. Let's do this.
So we need to roll something?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. This
Well,
is
that's-
Control Engineering Difficulty 2.
Well, Aleska has an engineering of 3, but a control of 9, so...
I have an engineering of 3 and a control of 10.
So probably Apricity would be better off for this.
By all of 1 point. Yeah, all of my talents are related to reason, not control, so. Or medicine stuff.
Alright.
I'm sorry, I'm getting my dice. I don't have any momentum or anything, so. Oh, well, that one went across the world.
That one's gone.
That is a 10 and a 13, which both pass.
Nice, okay. With coordination, and when the specialist says go, you hear a distinctive, almost metallic, like, click as every single chip is put out, and everyone on station can feel it's the rumble of the station's warp engine just kind of die off and eventually stop. And actually doing that, pulling out the engine itself, being part of the key and the lock, Neshek, your control panel boots back up.
Ops to computer team, Geek Squad, you did something, right? We're back online.
Geek Squad? Really?
That doesn't have to be canon, but I just thought of it while I was speaking.
This is why I don't talk to anyone up there.
I would still recommend doing a full computer shutdown and loading clean backups.
Yeah.
I would like to drop us out of warp first, at least. But then we can do that before we try to go anywhere else.
Yeah, well, luckily, I think we've succeeded at that. So, wherever you are, whoever was in need of geek squad or whatever, your control panel should be back up. You're gonna have some limited functions. Any form of thruster control is probably gonna be moot until we can get those back in 100% working order. Right now, I would assume at best they're working at 30% capacity.
Understood.
And the thrusters will only be good for alignment at this point.
If we have communications back, I'd like to radio all the ships we left back behind and let them know we're okay.
Yeah, the Aventine is the first one to, like, put the hollow feed back into, Alpha Ops. Lieutenant Commander Neshek, I don't mean to be incredibly, vulgar and early 22nd century about this, but what the fuck was that?
That was an uncontrolled power-up and activation of the Horizon Station warp ring.
How the hell does that happen?
We are currently just working on that. In the meantime, we are located at these coordinates, and I'll send whatever these coordinates are. And immobile, thankfully.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Can we ping our location and figure out which direction they sent us?
Yeah, they... where Horizon Station was positioned, you are probably... You're probably like a couple dozen AUs closer to the Galactic Center.
Are they trying to shoot us into a black hole? Or I guess they just want us to hit anything. That'd be a good direction.
Well, technically in the Star Trek universe, there's no black hole at the center of the galaxy.
What?
There's a galactic barrier at the center. If you've watched Star Trek V.
I have not.
Don't think about it too much. It makes my brain hurt.
I'm thinking about it.
we also,
I'm thinking about it, Zaz. I'm thinking about it.
Don't. 5 is one of the ones I try to forget about.
The astrophysics just aren't working out here.
Oh my god. You're gonna hurt yourself if you think about it. But yeah, the commander of the Aventine, how is the Admiral? Is she fine? I'm sure that was a jarring experience. Commander Neshek.
Sorry, I was reading the Wikipedia synopsis for Star Trek V.
Why? We just said not to!
I'm just here reading the line that says, the film received generally mixed to negative reviews and according to its producer, nearly killed the franchise.
It did!
But,
It really did!
But, assuming... I mean, I would ask for casualty reports, but we would have had plenty of time going through warp.
Mm-hmm.
But the Admiral's not on that list. I presume they are probably pissed, but not injured.
Yeah, Admiral Dax is almost on cue, steps onto Alpha Ops, and hair looks a little messed and frazzled. The gray uniform is slightly, like, torn open, as if it, like, had met, like, a bulkhead or something. Someone better have a damn good explanation to why my day keeps getting worse. For clarification, Admiral, Alpha Ops had nothing to do with it. Thank you for that, Commander. After all of that, I think, after that absolute disaster, I think probably now is when Captain Phillips gets to Alpha Ops as well. Equally, probably a little frazzled with all the extra information that has been dumped onto them.
No, I was going to a person and not Alpha.
Oh, well, you're going to be sorely shocked when the Apricity's not there.
And come to find out she's an Alpha Op, so I'm going
She's
to
not an
Alpha
Alpha
Op.
Op, she's still in the server room.
Jeez.
In Deck 400.
So I guess that's where I go, because I need their opinion.
Okay. You transport into just like a site-to-site transport into the server core deck, and you transport between what seems to be two, like, technicians doing some sort of repair. Oh, great. Let's keep adding people. This is great.
What do you mean adding people? Who else is down here?
Oh, there's a whole security force down here. I did appreciate the help. I'm a little surprised that there was as much synchronized unity as there was. But what are you doing?
I'm just looking for Chief Medical Officer Apricity. I need their opinion on something. Have you seen them?
Yeah. Section 288. Deck 400. That's on the other side of the ring.
Thank you, gentlemen, and keep up the hard work.
Yeah.
I know no one says it, but we appreciate you guys.
Oh. One of the technicians just, like, goes up to one of the servers, and you can see, like, maybe 4 or 5 silver marks, and they just etch another tally.
And with that, I walk off to where Apricity is.
Yeah, Apricity, you're in the aftermath of that.
I'm just chilling with Aleska. I'm excited that I can, go back to my fantasy football team or whatever I have going on in the back of my mind. That was so rudely interrupted.
So I walk up to Aleska and Apricity, and I say, Apricity, Aleska.
Captain.
You're a hard person to track down, Doc.
I have consistently been in the hospital for the last 2... however long this phase has been going on, I don't actually know in character.
Honestly, it hasn't been going on a super long time. It's only been going on for maybe just shy of 3 days now.
So, alright, Doc, I have a medical theory I want to put across your desk, so to speak.
Well, my metaphorical desk is right here. The person gestures at thin air.
What if, let's just say, Borg nanoprobes were reprogrammed and used to combat the phage and restore organs to the patients we have in sickbay? Would that even work?
Captain Phillips?
Yes.
I'm going to level with you here. That is the suggestion that my former second made moments before she was arrested.
Huh. Well, that's the second person who told me that idea. You won't believe the first.
And that is?
Madam Vice President herself.
Interesting.
Yep, and since I trust you guys in Alpha Ops, I pull out the combat that she gave me. Just to show it.
It is theoretically possible, but in my opinion, I personally am not comfortable with the risk.
Yeah.
But I will leave it up to your order. If I get a vote, I would vote against it.
Yeah, I know, but it's probably the only option we got. Even though me, you, and probably Aleska here, and probably the rest of my crew don't like it. The senior staff don't like the idea. It's the only option we got.
The vaccine does show eventual signs of promise, but it is going to take longer than several of our patients have.
Exactly. That's why I was off. That's why I brought a suggestion across your metaphorical table about the boy nanoprobes. That could be reprogrammed.
And where would we get these nanoprobes, Captain?
There's the problem of acquiring them, and there's the problem of specifically working with them, given the... Well, Apricity just gestures at themselves.
Yeah.
Sensitive nature of technology around the Borg.
Yeah. There, according to her, there is a Romulan warp shuttle docked next to Delta Ops, which would get you to the disabled probe in about 15 hours.
You might not like hearing me say this, Captain, but if we were to send an away team to that ship, you would not be going along with us.
I wasn't planning on going. No. Because I think I had enough away missions right now.
We may not need to use the nanoprobes, Doctor. We might be able, if the ship isn't as intact enough to retrieve nanoprobes, we might be able to access their library.
That's the other thing that I was going to bring up. You said the library can be accessed. Okay, disabled enough to where you guys can access the library and find a way to counteract this so-called phage.
And I think accessing that data would be much more preferable to the Doctor instead of experimenting with nanoprobes.
Yeah. See, I just brought that onto the table before I brought up this one. But getting the library info was a lot better than that idea. So we just go. Well, take an away team and go 15 hours to where it is. Get the access to the library, get the info on the phage, come back, cure our people. That's the most important thing, is getting that cure ready for our people.
Doctor, would you like to be on the away team to the probe?
I do not feel that would be advisable given this situation at the hospital.
Understood, then.
It's best if Apricity and I stay here, so take wherever you need, Aleska, and go to next to Delta Ops and take that warp shuttle.
If you feel that medical assistance will be necessary on your trip, I do have the ability to continue to provide care while simultaneously traveling with you, but I would be unable to render physical assistance in the hospital for the duration.
That would be a reasonable compromise, Doctor.
Understood. Captain?
If
Yes?
I could make a suggestion, Captain, perhaps we have a member of Gamma Ops come with us as a kind of olive branch.
Yeah, we can do that, because from what she told me, not all of Section 31 is bad. Basically, there's a splinter cell of Section 31 who is behind this attack.
That is not an unreasonable assumption. Given the history of Section 31.
This came from her because she's a director of Section 31. She's bankrolling them.
Maybe not bankrolling, but definitely in charge.
Yeah. This came from her, and I trust you guys not to say anything to anybody else. Outside of Alpha.
We are in the open floor right now.
I say, yeah, aren't you in the computer core with like everyone?
Yeah, except they're not really paying attention.
Thank goodness they're not paying attention, because that'd be a whole different discussion.
Wes's security senses are tingling, but he doesn't know why.
But
then Neshek is still up in Alpha Ops. Neshek doesn't know any of this.
true.
I think I would like to take Neshek and West with me. And Doctor, if you're not comfortable being on the probe itself, you can stay in the shuttle to be kind of our eyes in the sky, as it were.
That's acceptable.
I mean, that works for me. I hate to lose our chief medical officer.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. As a compromise, I can send. They gesture at themselves. My physical body there while continuing to render aid virtually. I just wouldn't be able to participate in any active surgeries, but in all honesty, my doctors are my equal.
Pretty much capable of handling it without you.
So the question is, who should we have Gamma Ops? Perhaps the captain?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can do that. You just put them in your custody as a sign of goodwill. Well, Aleska, I'll leave this in your capable hands. If you need me, I will be in Alpha Ops.
Alright.
And Aleska will let West know, and I would take him, and we would go over this warp shuttle.
Okay. The Romulan Kestrel class warp shuttle is roughly the size of a runabout. The only difference is a Kestrel class shuttle can go up to warp 9.8, which is ridiculous.
And I assume it has a cooking device?
It does.
I figured.
And
Aleska is familiar with
the
cloaking
most
devices.
comfortable thing, unlike a Klingon cloak, a Romulan cloak is almost undetectable.
Well, I go to the west. At least with cloak, we can come upon the probe undetected.
Considering that I was in the brig guarding the former Telsiar agent, is that something you want to be talking about in front of them, or would I have been called away?
You would have been called away to do a once-over of the shuttle.
Gotcha.
Making sure that there's no funny business with the shuttle.
Yeah, I would definitely be inspecting that.
Okay. I'm not going to have you roll for anything, because the shuttle is, in fact, clean. And, for the sake of brevity, Neshek and Captain Phillips would watch as the warp shuttle takes off and immediately jumps to high warp. Unlike a runabout, which has a slight charge to, like, hitting to warp, this is almost immediate. It does take you a little getting used to, because Romulan controls are a little different.
Yeah.
As well as the warp core is a contained singularity core, so it's a little different. Which,
Wait, did I see the shuttle leave, or am I on the shuttle? I thought Aleska said to bring Neshek with.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're on the shuttle.
Okay.
But
sorry.
Taking off. Yeah. Neshek, you've never seen a singularity core up close. This one is relatively small. However, it doesn't take an absolute total genius to know if that thing breaches, it'll be worse than a warp core malfunction. Luckily for you, though, if this thing goes wrong, you'll be dead within milliseconds.
How cheerful.
I would find this all very fascinating if it weren't for the fact we are jumping to a Borg, not ship, item.
Probe.
I will say, Apricity looks visibly uncomfortable, which is already unusual.
West, at that point, will turn around and just go, say again?
Down on all of it. Oh,
no. And then I'm going to look at the hand phaser and think to myself that I should have brought something more powerful.
Well, Aleska has the teleporting rifles slung across her back. Because that deals with physical rounds and not phaser beams.
Yep. And that's something that you've learned in your past that is a little bit more effective.
And she also has its headset on her left eye.
Alright. 15 hours was a generous mark. However, the increase of actually the station moving has dropped the time frame by about 2 hours. Dropping out of warp, there is a fairly reasonably sized moon. Maybe a little bit larger than Earth's. However, it is also falling in the state of improbability.
I would say that the moment the shuttle dropped out of warp, Aleska would have activated the cloak.
Okay. The planet in which it's orbiting is in several pieces. In addition to that, this planet would definitely be classified as a rogue planet, something that just doesn't make sense and shouldn't be, but is. and you do a quick sensor sweep, and you get a ping from the Borg probe that is on the surface. The atmosphere on the moon definitely warrants the use of EV suits.
I see our science officer is excited about this object.
I'm your comms officer, but Neshek is keeping. I know Neshek she just said, like, I wish this wasn't a Borg probe, but now that we're kind of here, it is like Neshek's whole background is like encryption and computer networking, so like this is kind of a fun thing.
This is their hobby.
Kinda.
If I die, I'm gonna be so mad at everybody here.
Blips back. Consciousness is now in the station. Just, you remember, this is your fault. Interlocked everyone.
And that's
sorry,
why
Dave.
Apricity kills everyone on Horizon Station. Crew's now
Borgified
expendable.
Apricity.
Okay. The shuttle, unfortunately, despite being the size of a runabout, does not have a transporter capability. It's clearly meant for, like, very specific stealth, and transporter signatures are, unfortunately, in this day and age, pretty easy to track. So the cloak and then just being a little bit more reserved in tech is honestly better. But landing on the moon and setting everything up and exiting, yeah, this moon is... it's definitely dark, but those of you that have the background and experience with such technology, you can see embedded into the rock of this, the surface, it poking out almost like a slanted pyramid, is dark metal with, like, slight little green fading hues.
Well, that is definitely a Borg probe. And she has her rifle at the hip position.
Okay.
Neshek will be, I guess, suiting up to go examine this. What exactly is our plan for examination? I won't have much processing power with any portable equipment, and for obvious reasons I'm not comfortable networking it to the ship or anything beyond that.
I have brought a spare tricorder so that we can try and download the information on a clean system that's not connected to anything. And from what Commander Shelby's reports say, we should be able to find a data node in one of the sections of the ship. Several should be evenly spread out.
Does this report mention any... Neshek will pause for a moment because she doesn't know the actual word. Personnel?
Were we told if there were any Borg on the ship?
You were not, but Captain Phillips was told that any sort of negative repercussions of the discovery should have been dealt with. So, in theory, the, like, 300 Borg that would have been on board are gone, in theory.
We were told it was derelict.
The report said it was derelict, but I would be on guard just the same. Wouldn't you agree, Captain? To because we were bringing a member of Gamma Ops with us.
Yeah, he is not jiving with this whole situation at all.
Never believe that one of these things is him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna believe that. Not even a little bit.
Because we all remember the Enterprise E's reports after the battle for Earth.
Are you trying to make me hyper anxious? Because if you are succeeding with flying colors.
Would it make you feel better to know that if you were to be assimilated, I would be the first to pull the trigger?
Fuck.
You're not making this better.
I apologize, sir. I just figured you would not want to be turned.
No.
Would you like to stay on the ship with me, Captain?
Everything about this is unsettling. Let's just get this over with.
And I will lead the team into the probe.
Rude!
Yeah, wait, that was rude, yeah.
Hey. He was told to come along, doesn't mean he has to like it.
He was voluntold to explore a Borg ship, but that doesn't justify being rude. At least West is rude and funny.
Time, place, and tact.
Yep.
I imagine I get the fun like Twitch stream view. Like everybody's got like a
Yeah, pretty much.
camera
you
on
actually
there.
have like a via almost like Iron Man hollow screens. You have everyone's like POV like pulled up.
Ha! Alright.
And the rest of you head towards this Borg probe that is supposedly derelict, and who's going first? This looks like a single person entry.
Not Neshek.
Aleska will be spearheading this.
Alright. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm going. Right, we're going into Borg territory.
On a technical level, this is not Borg territory, merely a Borg vessel.
That's the good news.
Sure.
Technically speaking, according to all the regulations and guidelines, it would Borg territory at one of their ships, much like our starships, our Federation territory. Just a note.
I'm learning so much that I already knew today.
But technically, if it's been derelict for over a year...
True.
Well, listen,
Neshek will
because
go after
you're
Aleska.
leading, you can't see this, and because Lance Corporal West and Lieutenant Commander Neshek are, like, kind of behind, they can't see this either, but you can feel, feel the, like, mental pain this man is going through.
Yeah, I would either be in the frontmost or the rearmost of this as we're going. Actually, yeah, I would be in the front.
And Aleska would be giving West the order to check every alcove that we come across, just to be sure that there are no Borg in the alcoves.
So it's Aleska, West, Neshek, Gamma?
Yeah, this poor man is definitely not having the best.
I thought West was in the back.
I was
I thought
debating it, and then I realized that it would be better to have the enlisted person in the front.
Our red shirt of the group.
No! He's a player character, he can't be a red shirt!
And
So I
No.
was thinking this
My
like a Nurse
uniform
Joy
is
situation.
is Kelly Green. So
yep. But the checking each and every alcove. Thankfully, this is nowhere near being a Borg sphere or tactical cube. However, it is still a fair amount of ground to cover. It's roughly the size of an Intrepid-class starship, so it's got a bit to it. It's just a little bit more compact, and everything is operating at, you would guess, emergency reserve power. And it's not even like something's keeping it up, it's more of like the power just hasn't faded from it quite yet. But checking all the alcoves and stuff, and before you get to one of the data nodes, yeah, there doesn't seem to be a single Borg in sight.
I hope we won't need to power up the whole ship, because I'd rather not I would rather not that the ship be able to contact the collective.
Did you really have to speak that into existence,
Oh yeah.
Commander?
Yeah, we're I'm really. I really am enjoying this field trip a lot. Everyone, thanks.
Any luck, I can simply redirect the emergency power to whatever node we're at the moment. However, that's contingent upon what areas of the ship are damaged and whether or not that particular node has access to power. We might need to visit a few nodes before finding the correct one.
I mean, Borg data cores are usually in the center, if my briefings are correct, so we'd have a little ways to go in.
Almost near the transwarp coil, correct?
No, if that thing's still intact.
That would be a secondary objective while we're looking, since we're here, because that could help the Avatine replenish their transwarp coil.
Yeah.
Well, if both the computing core and this secondary objective are in a similar location, I advise that we minimize our time here and just head directly for the center then. Almost certainly the central computer will have the permissions I need and will be highly prioritized on emergency power, so it'll be operative and privileged enough to access the information we require.
Indeed. And if I remember my briefings correctly, near the main node, there should be a tertiary adjuncts alcove. That might be a better way to gain access.
There is, actually. And I'm not gonna make you search for it, because there's enough data and enough stupid missions involving actually going aboard Borg vessels, as dumb as they may be. You're able to locate the node does seem to be active, and pulling data from it, not that difficult.
Aleska is suspicious.
The only problem of pulling data from it is it's extensive, and like having tricorder and such being the source of putting the information in, you have to pick and choose. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like there is there is a lot of like medical like leaps and observations from different species that you've never even remotely heard of. Like just bits and pieces, but that's so much to sift through. So
I look at the captain and go, Intelligence would love to get their hands on this.
Indeed.
Believe it or not, after being here, no. not really.
So I'm sitting on these 100 terabytes of medical data, and I have like a 10 gigabyte flash drive, basically.
Well, like a 128, but like still, it's comparative to knowledge that is galactical. You can only choose so much. So I mean, obviously, you have to pick stuff like things dealing with the phage and similar disease and things like that.
I will, if Apricity has my Twitch stream up, I'll just defer to their medical judgment. Just bringing up as much information as I can, letting them pass whether to save or not. Oops.
Yeah. Honestly, how strong is the, what? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. How am I connected to their suits? Is it a purely visual feed, or are we capable of transmitting actual, data?
It is, unfortunately, it is purely visual for the sake of you have Federation EV suits, but you do not have the full range of the Romulan shuttles, like databanks. So you can access a little bit, you just won't be able to access a lot.
Okay. No, I didn't want to upload it to me. I wanted to upload it to the... I wanted to see if I could...
Hey, gang.
Basically, remotely transmit it onto the ships, if I could quarantine a part of the ship's databanks. But... if we can't
My name's
even...
Apricity. We're on a Borg cube, and this is Jackass.
I really do not want to be, I really do not want to become, evil Apricity. Dark Apricity. Apricity with a mustache.
It'll be fun, though.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll follow Neshek's. I'll, yay or nay into the information that I need.
That is a little slow going in process.
Yeah, we're gonna be here a while.
However, for you, Apricity, as you're going through all of this, the sensors do flag for the Kestrel's long and short range sensors beep out alerts as a ship about maybe actually relatively close to you, maybe 33,000 kilometers away from you, drops out of high warp, and it is not a ship you were expecting to see. It is the Aventine's sister ship, the USS Kalian.
Alert, the USS Kalian has entered orbit.
I would suggest try hailing them.
Oh, yes, my apologies. Not a comms officer. I'll hail the,
The captain of the Kalian, human woman, darker hair, kind of a worn down skin tone, to whom am I speaking?
Commander Apricity of the Horizon Station. We are... Would it be in... I don't know what to refer to... What do you refer to this mission? It wouldn't be an off-planet mission. It wouldn't be a science. I'm sorry?
It's an away mission.
Away mission, thank you. That's the word I was trying to...
Yeah.
But yeah, we are currently on an away mission, and my CO is unavailable.
I can't help but notice you're able to contact us, but I don't see a ship around.
Are we currently still cloaked?
Yeah.
Oh, we are currently cloaked.
What is the nature of your mission, Commander?
Allow me to patch you into my commanding officer. I'm gonna mute them, put them on hold, and contact Aleska. Commander Aleska.
Aleska here. Go ahead, Doctor.
Yes. There is... The ship I previously mentioned has requested information on our mission, and I would like permission to patch him into you. Your comms?
I give a side glance to the captain, Gamma Ops Captain. Captain, keep it... if you would, analyze what I'm about to say to see if there's some kind of hidden motive. And I will go ahead and patch me through, Doctor.
Shall I also patch the captain through?
Yes, please.
Should I just go ahead and patch you all through?
No, just the captain and me. Neshek is currently busy downloading information for you, and West is guarding Neshek.
Yeah, I am I will patch them through and return to Neshek.
Greetings, Captain. Strange to find you here in the area.
I was in the area.
Well, we're currently on a mission to retrieve some data to help us deal with the phage outbreak on Horizon Station.
A rogue planet?
And I'm giving the Gamma Ops Captain a side eye as I'm talking, and is he reacting at all?
He's thinking really hard. Before he goes through his personal messenger and type something on his wrist computer and it pops up on yours. And it just reads Kestrel Evasive Pattern Omega 6.
I will text that to Apricity.
Does this have any relevance to me?
Yeah, it's not so much too much of a coded message, other than that usually is done when a violent firefight happens in space.
Okay.
So he basically doesn't trust the captain. We were told by Admiral Dax that this would be a place to find some information. And so we are under orders from Admiral Dax. If you have any questions, I would advise you ask the good Admiral herself. Although I would say good luck with that. And I would send a tight text message to Apricity to do I know they have active scans and they have passive scans. I would like to do a passive scan that won't ping their senses, that we're actually looking at them to see what they're doing.
Okay. That's easy enough to do on a ship like that. Yeah. Romulans are ridiculously thorough when it comes to stuff like this. So passive scans, easy enough to do. Apricity, you get a readout from the ship, from this shuttle, that the USS Kalian, is already doing, effectively planetary scans. And, phasers charging.
I will go ahead and send Aleska and the captain that memo. Can I go ahead and do a background check on the Kalian and the captain of the Kalian?
Yep. Going through and pulling up background data. You are suddenly in a world of alarm.
Okay.
You go digging through medical files, and you have determined that 1,081 of them are gone.
Okay. Like, what do you mean by that?
You know what? Why don't you make a reason security difficulty 2?
Okay. Because security is my best score. That is... I'm going to go ahead and use augmented ability.
Okay.
And that is a 15, which is a fail, and an 8, which is a pass.
Okay.
So that's 2 successes.
Alright. So, you are distinctly remembering the station turning itself off for only a few seconds. And then the warp and the computer lockout. You have enough of a reason score where you can start to piece together, as far as quotation section 31 or whoever these people might be. People who operate like this, one of their worst fears is people who can find them and track them, and medical records are a good way to do it. the station blacking out, the event with USS Ares, all of these pieces blocking out computers, shutting down, warping, moving. You're realizing, and it's frustrating that you've been outmaneuvered like this. Everything that has happened has been meant to keep you distracted, so when this happened, you wouldn't have noticed it. You are a huge threat to these people.
I will send a memo to Aleska warning her of that. Not necessarily the fact that I specifically am worrying, but the fact that I've been played the fool, and the situation on the ship specifically is,
I would also ask Apricity to determine if they are targeting the shuttle or are they targeting the Borg probe.
Oh, Borg probe, 100%, no doubt about
Yeah.
it. They can't find the shuttle.
my assumption is that they're searching for your biosigns, to be honest. Is that a reasonable assumption to make given the information I have?
Yeah, it's pretty reasonable.
Neshek, how close are you to being done?
You need at least another 60
So yeah,
to
nowhere
90
close.
seconds, maybe.
Oh, never mind. A lot closer than I thought.
But given how everything's accelerating right now, that's an eternity long.
If I
How
remember
long-
correctly... Go ahead, Neshek.
I was gonna ask how long would this vessel be able to last under bombardment? Especially
If you
given
were
we're in the
to restore backup power and get the shield generators working, theoretically it could adapt, and the shields could adapt, and it could take a lot of fire. It wouldn't last forever, but it could probably survive being under fire for a few minutes.
But then we'd have active Borg technology.
And it could contact the collective.
Your call, Commander, but we are short on time.
Where would the shield generator be on a probe?
Theoretically, if we're at the center, can I just activate it here?
You could activate it here.
Neshek, go ahead and activate the shield. Use whatever power you need.
Understood, Commander.
And Dr. Apricity, stand by with transporters to beam us
Shuttle
out.
doesn't have transporters.
We don't have transporters.
Oh yeah, that's
The
true.
shuttle
We're gonna
would
have to run out of here.
land.
But the Borg probe has transporters.
Correct.
Neshek, do you think you could use the probe's transporters to beam us to our shuttle?
Wouldn't I have to drop? Wouldn't I have to drop invisibility?
Shield, not
You have to
invisibility.
drop your shields, which are active right now with the cloak. You do not have to drop the cloak.
If I remember correctly, only the scimitar was able to have shields while cloaked. All other Romulan vessels had to drop shields before the...
You are correct, yes.
So currently the shuttle does not have shields if the cloak's activated.
The cloak is
I'll
activated.
just be in an unshielded ship with active Borg technology.
Here's the thing, Aleska. You can do this, and Neshek and even Lance Corporal West is aware of this. The moment you transport, they're gonna detect that, and they're gonna know.
Where the shuttle is.
Yeah, which means the moment you transport, and materialize, you will have to jump to warp very quickly.
I'd honestly rather risk landing. Or not even landing, just getting close and jumping for it, for lack of a better term. Because I also just don't trust that the transport is going to send us where we want to go.
Because we would be trusting Borg technology.
Well, either way, the phasers of the Kalian are charging. They will be ready to fire in maybe the next
I'm already
30
turning the
seconds.
shields on, but we need to figure out how we're getting out of here as I'm turning the shields on.
Dr. Apricity, I know you're no pilot, neither am I, to be frank, but could you position the shuttle above the probe while cloaked?
I have all my certifications. I have a 3 in con.
Okay. So, Neshek, you turned on the shields?
Yes, I activated the Borg
Okay,
shields.
the moment you do that, the Type 14 phasers hit, and, your initial calculations of this can take a few minutes of hitting is like, oh no, this can take maybe a minute or 2.
We don't need long, we
A
need
Vesta-class
only...
cruiser
what we
is
need.
nothing to screw around with.
We just need them to last long enough for Neshek to complete their work.
Alright.
This is gonna sound crazy. But since this machine's already on, does it have any weapons of its own that are conveniently pointed?
It does have its own form of, weaponry. Yes.
Aleska is face-palming.
I mean, I don't need to be accurate, I just need to make them scared. If I can just start shooting in the general direction of the Vesta, I'll just tell it to do that.
Okay. Yeah, that'll happen. You can actually watch from the shuttle's window, Apricity, as this probe powers up a little bit more and has shields now and is shooting back at this Vesta-class cruiser. Not doing, like, a huge amount of damage, but...
So,
Well-
this might be a bad time to mention, but do we hear the collective at all from this ship?
You do not hear the collective. However, the moment you start shooting back and have the shields active, deactivated Alcove's computer hub's data nodes start blinking to life.
And I go to West. That's not unnerving at all.
We just have to act like how Commander Data described the Borg. Cool, calm, and collective. Sir.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. With people like this.
And Aleska just gives you a Spock eyebrow.
Alright, while that's all happening, you're watching kind of like the download happen on the tricorder, and it finally hits that 100% complete mark.
Neshek, beam us out
We're
of
ready.
Alright.
Are we beaming or are we jumping? Like, are we leaving physically or are we using the teleporter? Because we need to coordinate with Apricity then.
I could work with either way. If you end up beaming, I could just position something between me and the ship.
And you can just point the shuttle
Potentially.
towards Horizon
Or
Station.
I could just bring it up so that you could jump. Whichever one is easier.
Like, I would almost suggest beaming Neshek directly to the pilot's seat.
Alright, I will Apricity, I'm using your current coordinates for a teleport out of here. If you can, spin the ship and point it away from the enemy.
Alright, Apricity, then you need to make a control con check with a difficulty of 2, because this is under duress, and also I will spend a 2 points of threat.
Okay. Do we have any momentum?
Nope.
No.
You've been
Well,
making rolls
We
flat
have
and
not
even.
had. Yeah, we have not had any rolls to gain momentum with, really. So
I cannot succeed at this then, lads.
Well, you can give Fate a point of threat for a die.
Can do that.
Still cannot, because that'll be 3, but I'll do it anyway to get me closer.
Okay.
It'll be more likely, if nothing else.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's a 19.
Ooh, okay.
We're all gonna die.
That's a 2, and that's
We're
a
fine.
7.
We're gonna be-
Those are both passes, and the 2 is under my discipline.
Okay, so that's a crit then too. So that's 2.
So that's 3 successes and 1 complication.
Okay. You immediately position the shuttle. Neshek, you get everything beamed and ready to go. You are down, and Apricity just guns it, and the Kestrel just jumps into a high warp. Here's where the complication happens.
Uh-oh.
A Vesta-class cruiser can easily catch you.
Unfortunate.
9.8 versus 9.998. So,
recommend we drop, cloak, change position, warp for a little while, and then basically do a zigzag back to Horizon Station. Sir.
Try and lose them. Let's try it.
alright. Let's... Okay. A trip back that should take 13 hours, just a straight shot without any stress, has increased to about 29. Going through, it's like a battleship versus a submarine. It's a lot of deceit and...
We're basically
yeah.
playing cat and mouse.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to avoid death charges.
And then...
Do not forget there are 3 dimensions of an axis, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly. And you do make it back to Horizon Station. However, that ship has had time to think as well. And it is back at Horizon Station about the same time that you get back. And with no regards to anything going on, it will open fire and hit your ship.
Even when we recloak?
I mean, it's waiting for us, I think, is the thing.
It is waiting.
Yeah, I thought the idea was to go cloak, warp around for a little bit, then come back still being cloaked.
They're waiting for us at Horizon Station, and because they figured out that's where we're going back, 'cause they knew we were in a waiting from Horizon Station. They're just saying fuck it and just hitting us as soon as we drop out.
My point is, if we're still cloaked when we drop out of warp and we see them, why would we decloak?
I thought we had a decloak to warp.
No, you
And,
don't
like-
have to decloak
oh.
to warp. However, I did commit this to a roll, just because the unlikelihood of this happening. However, a 1 will make it possible. It's kind of center sweeping and shooting, which it's kind of a lucky hit more than anything. They knew where your general area was before firing. Captain Phillips, you were absolutely horrified to, like... Because I imagine this away team would make known once they got there, like, hey, this fucking sucks.
Selena is a hostile element, basically.
Yeah. And
Is Admiral Dex still around, or did they leave?
Oh no, she's like the moment she saw that, she's immediately going to the Aventine.
She's on the warpath again.
And also that other ship is now, even though they're a ship, they're against a station, and I imagine the station has better firepower than a single ship.
Yes.
The station and its whole complement.
Whole complement, and the patrols we got, they won't even.
No,
we got shot off.
Yeah, hold on, I need to do something real quick. Okay.
Not to mention the couple of warbirds that we have on.
That's what I was saying. The patrols, they didn't get shot off.
I say that they were hungry when the first contact showed up.
Yeah.
Something's here and actually shooting. You might need to tell them to leave something behind for interrogation.
They might not do it. Which is the funny part. They might not do it.
Alright, the moment you get, like, every single operation, like, op station is given the Kalian warning, like, stand down or you will be fired upon, that whole thing. Admiral Dax isn't exactly in the happiest place right now, and does fire a warning with a torpedo, which detonates right behind the saucer and engineering section on the dorsal hull, and you can watch the ship kind of get impacted before there is a hail to Horizon Station and the Aventine, where the Kalian seems as if it's standing down. And actually, everyone on the Kestrel can actually listen in as well, because this is in more open hail. The commander of the Kalian is standing in the holoset of the operations room from your perspective. It's just on screen for those in the Kestrel. Well, this is awkward, Captain, Admiral.
Not really. You wanted to attack basically Starfleet itself by attacking its crew. Give me one good reason. I show my patrols or Admiral Dex. Put a hole in your ship.
How about we stand down? You lower your weapons. We'll put the hand down, and any sort of active phaser weaponry scans will show they deactivate. The shields are still up, though.
And I do the same. Have Horizon Station lower their weapons, but the shields stay up. And I tell the patrol to be on standby, in case they try anything funny. And I also send that message to Admiral Dex as well. I figured she was near. I figured she'd want to attack, so I figured I have her on standby. Just keep your shields up and your weapons on standby. Hey, as you can tell, our weapons are down. Our shields are staying up, though.
So are ours. I think that's only fair, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to be perfectly honest, you're back, which means our little operation is honestly ruined. So,
Bag, I never left the station. That's the thing.
no.
You think it?
No. You didn't leave the station, however, Captain, Admiral.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's high time that someone humbles some of you a little bit. I believe the Major declared something to the tune of compartmentalization.
Mm-hmm.
And she somehow, the intercom within the entire station goes live with her voice. Like, you can hear it out in the halls. And a little parting gift, because you've made this so easy, Lieutenant Commander Aleska and the rest of your team. How are you going to defend this station from a Borg threat if a portion of your fleet is missing?
What are you doing?
The intercom throughout the station cuts off. There's compartmentalization, Captain. And then there's unity. The operator at the Alpha Op station. Captain, they're charging up their slipstream hub.
Pass me through to the Admiral Dax. Immediately.
Already on it.
Admiral Dax to activating slipstream. If I were you, I don't know what you got to do, but stop him.
The Aventine's weapons charge, and they are locked and hit with phaser cannon fire from the port side. As
seeing this, would we be able to also fire from the?
I already got Horizon Station. Get ready to shoot the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I would advise not shooting from the Kestrel, given we are already damaged and much smaller.
Yeah. It's not. But I do have patrols and the Horizon Station. Get ready to shoot.
They already know where we're at.
Yeah.
So.
However, what you are watching from the Kestrel is, as the Aventine gets rocked, it gets blasted by a pair of Defiant-class ships, a Vorcha cruiser, and a Tavaro-class Romulan bird of prey, as it gets absolutely rocked, and the Aventines, all its lights within the ship just flicker and it's just powered down. Horizon Station can feel absolute impact as there is intense fire from Cardassian ships, various Andorian ships. Absolute confusion and chaos. And Captain Phillips, do you give the order to fire? That is the question here.
I have no choice. We're under attack. I'm going to have to get the order to fire.
Alright.
Much as I don't want to, I don't have much of a choice.
Are you committing your fire to the phaser arrays, or are you committing them to the torpedo tubes, or are you committing them to both?
I mean, I want to damage them, not destroy them.
Then phaser arrays would be likely your best bet.
Yeah, phaser is my
Alright,
best bet on this
as
dude.
phaser arrays go off, you are constantly getting hit, and shields of Horizon Station are pretty tough. However, you're watching them go from 100, 95, 83, and you can actually see pieces that have been shaken loose. As an all-out space battle outside of Horizon Station begins and ends just like that. Probably the most intense form of action you have ever seen, Captain Phillips, in the span of probably 5 minutes, before 47 ships just jump into high warp to who knows where. Kalian included.
Oh, this is great. The Avaltine's down, don't know the status of Admiral Dex, and we just have half our fleet just turned traitor. Wow.
Were we able to, I imagine we'll be able to figure out pretty easily which ships those were, right?
You'll have records of which ships
once we're
those
back
are.
on the station.
Yeah.
Once you're back on the station. However, Apricity, you can do the math in your head because wow, I can't believe I'm using the phrase like this, but it's funny. You're built like that. So, having 47 ships warp away out of the 416 total that you have as a station-wide fleet, that's a little... just a little over 10% of that fleet that just went rogue and has disappeared.
I tell whoever's banning Khan to try to contact the Avaltine, see if they're okay.
You eventually do get into contact with the Aventine. That... Captain, this is gonna go down on record as the worst day of my life.
Can I add that to my report?
No, I called it first. And
That's not fair. Oh. But how are you guys holding up, to be honest?
well, with the Kalian gone, we have a huge problem.
Yeah.
Station, I can see from the view screen here, there's a lot of damage to different ships. Station looks like it's fine overall. I'm sure people are... I think morale's gonna be the big thing.
Yeah. This is gonna be... Yeah.
And our biggest problem, Captain, those attacks, they destroyed our slipstream hub, and we have no functioning transwarp coil.
So you guys are
Which
pretty much
means
stranded.
we're stuck here. We can make our way back to Starfleet Command, but it will take us almost 4 months to get back at maximum warp.
And that's not enough time to warn them. And
I don't think they're going back to Starfleet, though.
no.
Would Aleska be listening in on this conversation?
Yes, you would be.
Admiral, this may sound impertinent of me, but we just came from a Borg probe, and it might have a transwarp coil on board.
Okay. Well, if the
And
coil is safe...
I will feed the Aventine the coordinates of that probe.
Well, right now we can't do anything about that. And I believe the doctor has information they can use to deal with our medical problem. I'm sure there's going to be some counseling issues that'll have to happen, which I'm going to have to get back into that.
I hate to pull you back into your old routine, Admiral, but it looks like, yeah.
And I would suggest that this is probably time for a hollow conference with the Federation Council. At
Yeah.
some point. Because if this is a rogue element, they've just declared war on the Alpha and Beta quadrants.
Yep. So Federation Council needs to know, which means the president and the vice president have to be included in this one. Or one of the two, anyway. Pick your choice. Either way, they're going to find out. And it's best if we tell them now instead of finding out down the line and shit hits
I don't
the
think
fan.
it would take them long to find out either way.
Yeah, okay, because the vice president already knows about our little Section 31 problem.
She does.
Oh, yeah.
The captain that's you drug along. She does?
Yeah, she does.
Western.
Captain,
Wait, what?
Captain, I would advise that we wait until we can.
I'm not saying nothing else except the fact that she knows. I might go into the details so everybody's here and we can sit in my ready room. We can have a discussion behind privacy.
Well, I'm going to put out the order for all of you who went on whatever away mission that you apparently went on. If it was for the medical use, I would put it to use immediately. Focus on the task at hand. We will move forward as best we can, but we can't move forward if we keep racking up yesterday's problems.
This is true. Did you guys get as soon as you Dr. Shuttle, get the medical and get to work on that info?
And I'll have Neshek guide us into dock.
Okay. Over the course of the next very shaken and stressful hours, using data and creating vaccines and stuff, it shows real promise. This one shows real promise for you, Apricity. The data that you have now, it's almost incredibly frustrating because it's just small little tweaks that had to be made here and there. Small little things. Things that
Excellent.
you were like almost overcompensating for.
So I don't actually have to use nanites?
You do not.
Honestly, best news. Outside of literally everything else going on, I'm fine with this situation.
I'm fine with it too, because I need some good news right now.
So
You will get the memo in like the 0.5 seconds it takes for me to write it.
Okay. So we will cut to the very end here, in the conference room. Actually, not the standard conference room. The United Federation of Planets Embassy conference room.
Oh, big one. Yeah. Okay.
As Admiral Dax, Captain Phillips, Vice President, various representatives of different embassies are there. Admiral Dax stands up. Ladies and gentlemen, what I am about to tell you, what we have just experienced, is not easy to say. And I think that is where we will end this three-parter.
Ah, shit.
Dun dun dun.
Ah.